What if the weight of the cargo you're hauling didn't just affect your truck, but also the safety of the roads, how smoothly your operation runs, and even the environment? Truck weight rules aren't just random numbers. They actually shape how we move goods, what kind of trucks we drive, and how long our roads last. In the US, there's an old saying that the bigger the better. But when it comes to trucks, that's not always the case. Federal law puts a hard cap on truck weight at 80,000 pounds, about 36.3 metric tons, for interstate highways. Some states do allow heavier loads, especially if the truck has more axles and you've got a special permit. Europe, on the other hand, plays by a different set of rules. Most countries there allow truck weights between 40 to 44 metric tons, that's 88,000 to 97,000 pounds. But places like Sweden and Finland push it even further, letting trucks weigh in at up to 60 metric tons, 132 pounds. So the real question is, which system actually works better? Is the US doing the right thing by being strict to protect its roads, even if it means sacrificing efficiency and maneuverability? Or is Europe winning by letting trucks carry more, run more efficiently, and stay more maneuverable in tight spaces? Well, let's dig in and see what the numbers and the roads are really telling us. Please like the video and subscribe to this channel for more interesting trucking videos. Before diving into truck weight regulations in Europe and the USA, it's important to understand why these rules exist. These weight limits are crucial for safety, infrastructure, and the environment. Safety is a key concern. Overloaded trucks are harder to control, especially when braking. Heavier trucks require more time and distance to stop, increasing the risk of accidents, and they're also more prone to tire blowouts, suspension damage, and rollovers, which endangers everyone on the road. The US limits aim to protect roads and bridges, many of which are aging and are not designed for super heavy trucks. It's also about safety, keeping braking distances reasonable and controlling wear on tires, suspension, and brakes. Europe, on the other hand, has gone the other way, but has done so pretty smartly. Roads in countries like Netherlands are built with advanced asphalt mixes layered to reduce cracking, deformation, and water damage. These roads are engineered to handle heavier axle loads, which means fewer potholes and less frequent resurfacing, even in winter conditions. Germany, for example, also steps in strong with its signature concrete autobahns. These roads are reinforced concrete, often embedded with steel, making them robust against the increased axle pressures of 44-ton plus trucks. And this makes German highways not only more durable, but also more comfortable to drive on at scale. Both countries have spent decades reinforcing or rebuilding bridges to meet highway demands, ensuring infrastructure doesn't become the bottleneck. Now, fuel consumption and emissions are another concern. Heavier trucks do burn more fuel, increasing operating costs and emissions. The USA has stricter regulations, encouraging lighter, more fuel-efficient trucks to reduce environmental impact. While Europe has made strides in fuel efficiency, its more flexible weight regulations can lead to higher emissions. In short, Europe and the USA take different approaches, but Europe's system offers some clear advantages. By allowing heavier trucks, Europe moves freight with fewer trips, cutting costs and reducing fuel consumption per ton. This makes it much smarter and a more sustainable choice in the long run. The USA, on the other hand, sticks to stricter weight limits, which can mean more trucks on the road, higher emissions, and increased costs for businesses. As both regions push for safer and more efficient transport, regulations will keep evolving. That's why trucking companies and policymakers need to look at what's working, and Europe has a whole lot going for it. In the United States, truck weight regulations are managed by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, which is part of the U.S. Department of Transportation, or DOT. Federal law sets the maximum weight for trucks traveling on interstate highways at 80,000 pounds, or 36.3 metric tons. It also limits axle loads on the interstate system, 20,000 pounds for a single axle, and 34,000 pounds for a tandem axle group. However, states have the flexibility to set their weight limits. For example, Michigan permits trucks to weigh up to 164,000 pounds, or 74.4 metric tons, as long as they have multiple axles and meet certain requirements. These trucks, which can have as many as 10 axles, are designed to distribute weight more evenly, reducing wear and tear on the roads. Typical truck configurations in the USA include long-haul semis with multiple axles, commonly equipped with a longer wheelbase to better distribute weight. Now, this helps to manage the distribution of the load, minimizing the strain on both the truck and the road. This very tight approach to weight limits offers key advantages for infrastructure and safety. By enforcing standardized weight restrictions, the system helps to protect roads and bridges from excessive wear, ultimately reducing long-term maintenance costs. It also promotes safer driving conditions. Though American trucks tend to be larger and less maneuverable, their lower weight reduces stress on highways and improves braking performance. While some states allow heavier loads with special permits, the overall system ensures a balance between freight efficiency and infrastructure longevity. Now, as the industry evolves, the USA continues to prioritize road preservation, safety, and sustainability in freight transport. Now, another challenge in the USA's trucking industry is its environmental impact. As the focus on sustainability grows, some states are stepping up with new initiatives to tackle these issues. For instance, New York is considering the Advanced Clean Trucks Rule, aiming to increase the number of zero-emissions trucks on the road. By 2035, the rule targets 40% of tractor sales and 75% of other truck sales to be zero-emission. However, concerns over infrastructure readiness and the feasibility of such a transition persists. Additionally, seasonal weight restrictions are common in states like Michigan. During the spring thaw, when roads become softer, these restrictions help minimize the damage to infrastructure. Trucks carrying excessive weight during this period can worsen road conditions, leading to problems like potholes and cracks. Now, in summary, while the restriction on heavier loads may limit certain inefficiencies within the trucking industry, it reflects a broader commitment to preserving road infrastructure, minimizing maintenance costs, and reducing environmental impact. As sustainability remains a central concern, current regulations aim to strike a balance between economic activity and the long-term protection of public assets and the environment. Meanwhile, truck weight regulations in Europe are standardized by the EU Directive of 95/53/EC, which sets the maximum weight limit for most trucks at 44 metric tons or 97,000 pounds. However, some countries like Sweden and Finland allow trucks to go up to 64 tons in certain conditions. Now, this is typically due to specific road conditions, such as the need to transport heavier loads in remote areas, and the need for more efficient long-haul transport. In these countries, the exceptions are usually applied for vehicles with additional axles, or special configurations that help distribute the weight more evenly, reducing road wear and making it safer to carry heavier loads. In countries like the Netherlands and Germany, infrastructure investment has been proactive and future-focused. Dutch roads often have 3 layers of asphalt, each with different properties to maximize durability and prevent cracking under pressure. German highways also benefit from steel-reinforced concrete beds that barely flinch at 44 tons, at 44-ton loads. Now, these design choices allow Europe to push weight boundaries without damaging the road system. And in cities, Europe's urban planning shines. Instead of running heavy trucks through historic city centers, most countries have ring roads and designated freight corridors. Logistics hubs sit outside major cities, with smaller vehicles completing the last mile into urban areas. Now, this setup reduces wear and tear on city roads and keeps big rigs where they belong, on highways built to handle them. Now, Europe's heavier trucks are surprisingly efficient. Stricter emission standards, like the Euro 6, push manufacturers to build cleaner engines. Combined with more efficient logistics, the result is fewer trucks doing more work, reducing total emissions despite the higher individual weights, and has been implementing CO2 emission standards for trucks. In 2019, the EU adopted its first ever CO2 emission standards, requiring manufacturers to reduce emissions by 15% by 2025 and by 30% by 2030, compared to 2019 levels. With the 2025 deadline fast approaching, these standards are a major push towards the adoption of zero-emission vehicles and greater fuel efficiency in the trucking sector. European roads, especially in older cities, tend to be narrower than those in the US, which is why European trucks are built more compact. The cab-over-engine layout is the norm, allowing better maneuverability in tight spaces while maximizing cargo space. But it's not just about size. European regulations focuses heavily on axle weight distribution, not just total truck weight. This approach helps minimize road damage and ensures safety, even with heavier loads. That's also why more axles are common across Europe. Multi-axle setups like 6x2 or 8x4 aren't just about spreading the weight. They're essential for meeting strict turning radius laws and staying compliant with road preservation standards in countries that allow 44-ton limits. Sustainability is a big focus in Europe's trucking regulations. Strict emission standards encourage manufacturers to design fuel-efficient and eco-friendly vehicles, and recently new rules have been introduced to support zero-emission vehicles. These vehicles are allowed to exceed the standard weight limit by up to 4 extra tons, making room for heavier batteries or hydrogen fuel systems while ensuring they don't lose cargo capacity. The EU is also working on unifying rules for longer and heavier truck combinations. Some countries already allow vehicles up to 60 tons and 25 meters in length, and efforts are underway to make these rules consistent across borders. Eventually, the 44-ton limit for articulated trucks will apply to only zero-emission vehicles, further pushing the transition to greener freight transport. In short, Europe is focused on balancing efficient logistics with sustainability by encouraging cleaner trucks, ensuring fair weight distribution, and harmonizing regulations across countries. The EU aims to keep its trucking industry both competitive and environmentally responsible. Now, when it comes to load capacity, Europe definitely has the upper hand. With fewer weight restrictions in many countries, European trucks can carry much heavier loads, making long-haul trucking more efficient since fewer trips are needed. In contrast, America keeps things at a 36.3-ton limit for most trucks, which might not offer the same raw hauling power. So while Europe is all about handling heavier loads, the USA focuses on being more sustainable and efficient. And when it comes to road infrastructure, the heavier trucks in Europe put a lot of stress on the roads. In countries with fewer restrictions, you're looking at more wear and tear, which can lead to higher maintenance costs in the long run. The USA, on the other hand, sticks to lighter trucks that put less strain on the roads. Now, this is especially helpful in countries with older road networks, helping them last longer and requiring fewer repairs. So in this area, the USA really knows how to protect its infrastructure. Now, truck design. American trucks typically have long noses, making them not so comfortable for drivers during long trips. However, they offer more space, which is great for long hauls. And this design doesn't work as well in tight urban areas. And that's where Europe takes the win with its cab-over-engine design. These trucks are more compact and easier to maneuver in cities or on narrow streets. So even though US trucks offer more room, Europe's designs are better suited for navigating tight spaces. And then there's fuel efficiency and environmental impact. And this is where Europe pulls ahead. Even though European trucks often carry heavier loads, they're built to squeeze every drop of fuel. High fuel prices, strict CO2 targets, and smart engineering have pushed European manufacturers to design trucks with sleek aerodynamics, lighter materials, and ultra-efficient engines. The US does have tough emission regulations, no doubt, but American trucks are typically bigger, burn more fuel, and aren't as focused on efficiency. So when it comes to going green and cutting emissions, Europe is definitely leading the charge. So to sum it up, Europe takes the lead when it comes to carrying heavier loads, and it does so efficiently. While US trucks aren't limited to lighter weights, which can help reduce the strain on roads and preserve infrastructure, Europe balances heavier payload with smart design and fuel-efficient tech. American trucks may offer more comfort for long hauls, but Europe's cab-over designs are unmatched in maneuverability and space saving, especially in tight urban areas. And when it comes to reducing environmental impact, Europe is clearly ahead with more fuel-efficient trucks, stricter CO2 targets, and a stronger push towards sustainable transport. So which system is better, the USA's or Europe's truck weight regulations? Well, it really depends on what you're prioritizing. Each region has its own unique advantages, and it's important to understand how they compare. In Europe, the system is built to handle heavier loads while maintaining efficiency and sustainability. By allowing higher weight limits, Europe reduces the number of trips needed to move large quantities of freight, cutting costs and lowering fuel consumption per ton transported. This approach makes freight transport more efficient, while also supporting long-distance hauls. On the flip side though, the USA enforces stricter weight limits to protect roads and bridges, ensuring long-term infrastructure durability. While certain states issue special permits for heavier loads, the overall system prioritizes safety and standardized regulations. And this helps maintain road quality and promotes a balanced approach to freight transport. So at the end of the day, the European system offers a smarter solution by allowing heavier trucks while emphasizing efficiency and sustainability, and it reduces congestion and cuts transportation costs. So if you're looking for a forward-thinking, cost-effective, and environmentally friendly approach, Europe takes the lead. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. Share your thoughts in the comment section down below on which system aligns with your needs, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more trucking videos.